Hello and welcome to another episode of What's in the Pipe Quarantine Edition. I'm your host, Marissa Davis, and joining me today I have Terry Strahan, who is G2's GIS Manager, and Tracy Thorleifson, who is our Technical Authority of GIS, and he also manages our software team. So I just have a few questions for you guys today, and I'll direct each question towards one of you, but the other one should feel free to jump in at any time if you have anything to add. Let's start with some context, and Tracy, I'll start with you. Can you describe the main requirements introduced by the recent gas and liquids rules now in effect since July 1st as they relate to GIS?
Sure. Well, there's a couple of things going on, Marissa, that are going to really impact us on the GIS side. First, with respect to the natural gas side of things, there's been a major change to the way we calculate high consequence areas. We've introduced a new type of consequence area called a moderate consequence area, which reflects somewhat lesser population, but also takes into account roads. And so that's on the gas side. On the liquid side, it's not so much changes to the rule as it is changes to data that is now available to us. So for the first time ever, PHMSA has updated the drinking water and ecological area, high consequence areas, and that's been done in concert with natureserve.org. The other thing that's really impacting us on the liquid side is that the USGS has been embarked on a program to massively increase the resolution and quality of elevation data across the nation. So right now, we have 3-meter resolution data available across the entire continental US, and we're heading towards 1-meter resolution data across the continental US by 2023.
So let's focus on natural gas pipelines now. How can operators implement MCA into their class and HCA analysis? And Tracy, if you want to start this one.
Sure. Well, so really, you have to, again, update your HCA software to accommodate the calculation of moderate consequence areas. And really the main change there is being able to pull in road data sets so that you can identify qualifying roads for moderate consequence area analysis. But really the real heavy lift of this is all on the data side. And I think Terry is much better qualified to address that than I am. So Terry, to you.
Thanks, Trace. Absolutely. As we indicated, the MCA is a new part of the GIS HCA. The rule has two pieces. The structure status at 5+ structures, the operators should already be used to be able to manage that type of data. As Tracy indicated, the road data sets is the thing that's the most unique within this ruling. If you're an operator that has a single state operation, you have a single data set to be able to have managed with. It's the operators that have multiple data sets across the United States that have to have a different set of data sets for each state. And the problem with that is that not every state has the same qualifying data that should be used for MC identification. And the additional challenges for the operators is as a single state, you still have to manage the data that you're dealing with to be able to do the MCAs. So you're still being able to work with the data sets, manage the data sets, and then devise the routes to be able to handle the inconsistencies with those data sets.
And how does this implementation different for, let's say, a small operator with no GIS experience versus a large operator with an existing GIS team? Terry?
Small operators have a couple of things that they're trying to deal with. They have resources and personnel that they're trying to deal with. They usually have only 1 or 2 GIS folks that are within their department, and those guys are doing multiple hats on a day in and day out basis. This is where G2 has an opportunity to come in and provide an overall solution for them with a complete turnkey solution that we could provide them for their data sets.
The main difference between the large operators and the small operators is that the large operators typically have the staffing resources and the desire to control this process entirely in-house. They're facing a couple of other challenges as well. ArcMap, the traditional GIS tool from Esri, is in its last incarnation and is heading into the sunset. ArcGIS Pro is becoming the go-to desktop tool in the GIS world, and so operators are faced with that transition. And so many operators are transitioning not only their desktop software, but also their underlying data systems. And so it's important that your software, whether it be Gas HCA or Liquids HCA, it's important that that software can live in that environment and run natively in the ArcGIS Pro world.
How about the liquid pipelines? Are there specific requirements in the new regulations or advancements in the approach to calculate HCAs or consequence areas, Tracy?
Well, so again, not so much in terms of changes to regulation, but changes to data. Traditionally, providers like ourselves have provided liquids HCA analysis only as a service, mainly because it's just so compute intensive and so hard to manage. And so what we've done with our liquids HCA tool is we, for the first time, made it available as a software product, but not just as a desktop tool, but as a viable enterprise tool that can really scale massively. And that's very important for the larger operators who are operating, tens of thousands of miles of transmission pipeline in some cases.
The other thing that I'd like to mention as part of that enhancement to the software is the use of GeoCloud, which makes a very more enhanced overflow spill analysis that looks very different than what we've had in the past. Smaller operators would have an opportunity to be able to pass that entire system over to us. We would be able to handle that as a turnkey solution for them as well. Do the reporting for that, and also create the alignment sheets that will be associated with HCA analysis to give them a complete solution.
One of the things that we get with the new GeoCloud kernel that we've incorporated into our Liquids HCA software is the ability to actually visualize the evolution of liquids plumes through time. So we can use the time slider in ArcGIS Pro and see how the plume evolves, or the plumes, depending on how many points you've run through time, so that you can use that information to better gauge your emergency response plans. You could even use that data to support emergency response exercises.
And finally, where do you see GIS tools and solutions evolving to help operators better manage the safe operations of their pipeline?
One of the things that is really intriguing about the way the Esri platform is evolving is this concentration on time-aware data and on extreme detail. Esri has had this concept of the digital twin for some years now, and it's really starting to come to fruition. And what that means is that we can better model with our simulation tools, and we can better model with the data tools that we have now with utility network and APR, model the reality of the pipeline system. So as we move towards a world where we perform quantitative risk analysis and we incorporate those results into our integrity management programs, we can just do a much better job with these new tools. And for all of the GIS folks out there, that really ought to be the impetus for moving you from the older database platforms to the newer platforms and to ArcGIS Pro.
I think the enhancement of being able to add cloud computing is going to make a world of difference moving forward. As you indicated with the feature data sets, as far as like the elevation data sets, we started off with the 30 meter, we went to the 10 meter, then to the 3 meter, down we're trying to push and go to the 1 meter DEM data sets. I think those are the two things that are going to make a huge opportunity moving forward.
Okay, guys, so let's wrap it up right there for today. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks, Marissa. We appreciate it, and thanks for having us.
Thank you, Marissa.
If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our LinkedIn group to continue the conversation. Until next time, keep it flowing. It's under control.